Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is August 5th. We are talking with our old friend, returning guest, Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. Our regular viewers know who he is, and we're going to start a very special series of videos right now for the upcoming college football season. Steve's written a book called The Betting Black Book. It's a primer on all the ATS tendencies of all the college football coaches. Very interesting book, which you can get right now on Amazon. And Steve is going to do a series of videos with us, just summarizing and discussing some of what's in that book concerning a bunch of coaches from college football. Is that about right, Steve? Did I leave anything out? Is everything I said accurate?
Everything you said was accurate, Peter.
Okay, sounds great. So let's get right into it. The first coach that we're going to discuss right now, Bob Stoops from Oklahoma. Now, when I think of Bob Stoops, I guess he's been the coach of Oklahoma since like 1999 or 2000 or something like that. So all my associations with Bob Stoops are my exact associations with Oklahoma. I guess I don't really have anything except when Oklahoma is very highly rated, I look for them to underachieve and underperform. And when the expectations are lower, that's when I look for them to maybe be a good bet against the spread. Other than that, I don't really have any associations with Bob Stoops as a coach. What can you tell us about Bob Stoops, Steve from collegefootballwinning.com?
One thing, if you don't mind, that I want to add about what you said about the book, The Betting Black Book, is the foreword was written by Peter Loshak.
That's right.
Very thoughtful and very flattering. And Peter, the book was pre-released on Amazon in June, and it went to #1. It became a #1 bestseller on pre-release.
Wow.
In 3 different categories, including football and sports gambling.
Sounds awesome. All right, so Bob Stoops. What can you tell us about Bob Stoops? Give us a little sample of what's in the book.
Okay, so what's in the book, as you said, it is a betting history of all the active 128 FBS head college football coaches. But I used data just from the last 10 years. So as you pointed out, Bob Stoops, he's the longest tenured head coach in the FBS right now. So he's been there, as you said, since 1999. We're only looking at the last 10 years of against the spread data for Bob Stoops,
Okay.
even though he's been there 17 seasons. Okay, and you know the time value of data, that if I started quoting you things from 16 seasons ago, you would say, I'm not sure how valid that is coming up for 2016, 2017. So against the spread, last 10 years, Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, he's 74-57-2. That's winning at a rate of 56.49% against the spread. And just so to remind the viewers, the break-even point in standard college football betting is 52.38%. So when you hear a statistic that is above 52.38% against the spread, you know it's profitable. So where he ranks overall, last 10 years against the spread among all active 128 FBS college football coaches, is 28th in that category. Pretty good. At home, Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, 40-25-1. That's winning at a rate of 61.54% against the spread. That's at home last 10 years. That's the 14th best of any coach in the country. Away, also profitable, 31-25-1. He's 50. That's 55.36%. He ranks 50th in that category. One of the categories I have in the book that I think is important is narrow point spreads. So how do coaches do in games where the point spreads are less than 3 points, less than a field goal? And for that category, I did not distinguish between a favorite and an underdog. And I'll tell you why I didn't do that. If it's less than 3 points over the past 10 years, when the opening line was something under a field goal in any direction, the underdog and the favorite changed places from opening to closing more than 25% of the time, 25.37% of the time to be exact. So in theory, taking that example, a team could attract money as an underdog on the opening and all week long, only to become the favorite moments before kickoff. So if I classified that team as the favorite, I think that would be misleading. So anything under 3 points, I didn't consider favorite or underdog. I just call that narrow point spreads. So super close games. He is 4-1 against the spread, 80% the last 10 years. So doing well in those narrow point spreads, but doesn't have that many, believe it or not, as a favorite. So favorite, I'm considering, at least by a field goal here. Last 10 seasons, 66-51-1 against the spread. That's 56.41%. Definitely profitable, but he's one of those coaches, and this is fairly rare. He's one of those coaches who dominates as a big-time favorite. So when he is a favorite of at least 2 touchdowns, he is 39, 27, and 1 the last 10 years. That's winning at a rate of 59.09%. That's obviously tremendously profitable. As an underdog, on the other hand, he's not so good. Of at least 3 points now, an underdog of at least 3 points. He's 4, 5, and 1 against the spread, so it's 44.44%. In conference, in the Big 12, last 10 years, he's 48, 40, and 1, so he's 54.55%. That's the 4th best of all active coaches in the Big 12. Out of conference, though, even better. He is 26, 17, and 1. That's 60.47%. That winning rate against the spread. That's 26th best in that category of all 128 coaches. Here's a category I like to focus on too. Total preparation time. Okay, so total preparation. I considered that when a coach had at least 10 days to prepare his team before kickoff. So that would include the first game of the season. That would include after bye weeks during the season, before bowl games, before college football playoff games, literally any game at any time during the college football season where a team had at least 10 days to prepare for the team they're facing. He is not so good there. He's 17 and 19. That's 47.22%. That ranks 64th. And for people who are interested now, it's preseason. First game of the season, his against the spread record is an even 5 and 5, 50%, the last 10 seasons. So that means expectations are pretty much right where they're supposed to be for that first game of the season for Bob Stoops at Oklahoma. Now, one caveat I want to give to all these statistics, Peter, is for Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, I looked back, for this category, I looked back his entire tenure there since 1999, so 17 seasons. When the AP poll is released, and it hasn't been yet, it will be released later this month as we're taping this right now in early August, Oklahoma, they're probably going to be a top 5 team. And that's a critical cutoff for Oklahoma and Bob Stoops. Dating back to 1999, that preseason AP poll, when Oklahoma, under Bob Stoops, is in the top 5 preseason, they average for the entire season, their against the spread winning rate is 49.14%. That's when they're preseason top 5. Now, when they're anywhere but the top 5, so it could be 6 or beyond, anywhere there, just not the top 5, Oklahoma, the last 17 seasons, the entire time Bob Stoops has been there, they average 59.8% against the spread for those seasons. So there's such a dichotomy there. So you really do, and it makes perfect sense, just as you said, to start this video. You want to look at where the public expectations are to start the season for him, or at the very least, when it comes to the AP, the Associated Press, you want to look for what they're telling the public their expectations should be. So top 5 team, just be warned, but if they're outside the top 5, and he's handled being in the top 10, but outside the top 5, he's handled that very well. So in sum here, Peter, the good for Bob Stoops at Oklahoma, he's good at home. He's good as a big favorite, something at least 2 touchdowns. He's good out of conference. Where he's not so good as an underdog, and he's just not good in bowl games. 3 and 7 against the spread the past 10 seasons.
All right, Steve, very interesting stuff. This is all the information to be found in his new book, The Betting Black Book, which you can find on Amazon. Of course, Steve's website, collegefootballwinning.com. Steve, with college football right around the corner, it's the most important website I think anyone can go to. Tell us about that. Tell us what we can find there.
At collegefootballwinning.com, all we do all season long, and the book is evidence of this, all year long, not just in the season, is college football betting analysis. We're a company founded on making betting recommendations using sets of algorithms. We call those algorithmic betting recommendations our formula. The formula, the lifetime of this company, Peter, is 59.89% against the spread.
There you go.
That's 495 formula betting recommendations. So we're going to hit 500 this year, this season. Go to collegefootballwinning.com and you can put in coupon code SBR10, that's SBR10, get 10% off of any membership that we're currently offering. And for the entire season, we still offer a 100% money back guarantee on the entire season.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, Steve.
Thank you, Peter.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.